So before I start this video, I would like to put a trigger warning. In this video I talk about panic attacks, anxiety, SUI, and a lot of things relate to trauma and mental health. So if any of this stuff triggers you, please stop watching here. But if you'd like to hear my story, then please keep on watching. I look like Snow White with Jasmine. Hello guys, and welcome to my channel. It's not Ghost here, it's Nadine. So last week's video did well, in my opinion. You guys liked it. You guys were excited to have a kind of a podcast idea coming from me, so it motivated me to film this week's episode. It's been like a long-term goal of mine to take my YouTube channel seriously and release videos weekly. However, I genuinely hate editing. On top of that, I'm OCD, so I don't want nobody else to edit my videos for me. It's just a whole cycle of idioticness. Instead of making my life easier, I'm making it harder. My New Year's resolution in January was to take my YouTube channel seriously and make this like a full-time career. It's May. It's almost middle of the year, and it's never too late, right? Anyways, I'm waffling. Let's not waffle. So I've asked you guys on my Instagram story what topics you would like me to discuss, and somebody said my therapy. If you haven't watched the last episode, please go back and watch it. I spoke about how I went to therapy and how I recommend it to everybody, and people said, can you speak about your therapy? I will speak about my therapy. However, I will not speak about why I went to therapy, because again, I'm very against speaking about your personal life. It just doesn't need to be on the internet. It really doesn't, unless I'm getting interviewed like, you know, a celebrity. Maybe I'll think about it, because once it's online you can't get rid of it. So I'm gonna get ready to speak whilst I'm doing my makeup. I've got work in 2 hours. I think that's enough time if I shut the hell up and stop waffling and get into the point. So I will start off with a simple explanation of what therapy is. This is literally just from Google, so I could give you guys an idea if you don't know what therapy is. So therapy is the process of meeting with a therapist to resolve problematic behaviors, beliefs, feelings, relationship issues, and or somatic responses, sensations in the body. I'm assuming that's either like when you feel anxious or when you have a panic attack. And let's explain what the therapist does. So the therapist, psychotherapists, are licensed mental health professionals who specialize in helping clients develop better cognitive and emotional skills, reduce symptoms of mental illness, and cope with various life challenges to improve their lives. So now that we understand what therapy is and what a therapist does, let's talk about why I decided to go to therapy. I'm somebody who is very much, what can I say, if you've got a problem, get over it. Get over it. I don't think you should dwell on issues that are negative. You could dwell on something that's positive. It's better for your brain. If you're going through a heartbreak, get over it. If someone died, you can cry a little, but get over it. If you've been through trauma, get over it. And that mentality is so wrong, in a sense that I believed it so much, and it's because of my upbringing. Therapy kind of, wow, look at that posture, it's awful. So I very much believe that you shouldn't allow your brain to go through sadness and sorrow. I was super against it, and again, that's just my upbringing. I wasn't born in England, so I don't feel like I'm as privileged. Saying that, I'm not saying that everybody brought up here privileged and is rich. I'm more privileged than I was in Egypt. Why do I run out of breath when I talk so much? It's actually a joke. So I compared my life since I moved here to Egypt. I've always appreciated this country for the opportunity. You know, this typical immigrant child mentality. It's another topic though. I will talk about it more in depth if you want in another video. When you're an immigrant child, you have a lot of stress, maybe, I don't know about you, because you want to prove yourself, make something out of yourself. So the moving here and the sacrifice of your parents to move to a different country and leave everything behind doesn't feel like a waste of time. So I don't know about you, if you are also someone who moved countries at a young age. I constantly feel like I'm running out of time. I'm not doing enough to make sure I'm reaching my goals, and that causes me a lot of stress 24/7, and I'm always in a race with time. I don't know why me and time are not just best friends. I hate time. Anyways, my mom kind of installed in me that we don't really have time to dwell really in sadness. If you are sad, just get over it. When I'm sad, I kind of tend to compare my life to other people, and I guess that's my way of thinking. I don't really have the right to be sad because other people are experiencing worse things, and that's a very toxic mentality. My mom always says Islam teaches us to be grateful and have gratitude towards our situations. I don't think Islam taught us us, if we're in a bad situation, we can belittle our issue. It's still an issue. Do you know what I'm trying to say? And I feel like therapy really taught me that just because your issue isn't as severe as somebody else, it doesn't mean it's less worthy to be a concern or an issue. What I'm trying to say is, just because, for example, someone has cancer and you have gastritis, cancer is seen as, you know, the worst disease, right? Doesn't mean that your situation is not worthy to be treated as something painful. You don't go and say, oh no, because I don't have cancer. How why is it when I'm always filming, I swear to God, I don't hear this plane when I'm not filming? So just because you don't have cancer doesn't mean your medical problem isn't worthy. So this mentality, like my mom installed in me, I think is completely wrong. I'm not saying that I shouldn't be grateful. Alhamdulillah, I'm very, very grateful. Also suffering from a past trauma and I never addressed it. I've talked about it with friends. I've experienced it with my family. I don't like talking about this, even mentioning it. And to this day, I don't know whether I should call it trauma or not. My therapist said, do you think it's trauma? It makes me cry instantly. I'm belittling my problem. I hate that mentality now. Even when my mom does it. My mom has a lot of illnesses. She's like, yeah, but I will never complain because people are worse than me. No, it doesn't mean your issue is not worthy of complaining about. And now it literally angers me because therapy made me realize. Anyways, I'm waffling. Let's go back. So me accepting that what my issue was trauma, honestly, took me so long. Side note, I went to therapy for 22 weeks. It's a charity that offers therapy for Middle Eastern and Afghan women that went through various things. It's called iCroak. My therapist, he said the waiting list is not long. So if you think you do need that, then please go refer yourself and speak to somebody. It genuinely is so helpful from my perspective and my experience. So yeah, I remember my therapist saying something to me that made me cry. After I've realized what she's trying to say, it literally just broke me down. And I have another issue. I hate crying. I don't want to cry. I like to think I'm a happy, bubbly person. If I'm wiping my eyes in this video, I'm not crying. I just have eczema on my eyes and my eyes are tearing up. So don't get excited. You're not getting exclusiveness over here. So as I was saying, I have a huge issue with crying. I think it means you're weak. Again, a lot of people I think thinks the same way. It means that you can't handle life. And I guess that's the whole thing though. Are you supposed to handle life? Life isn't supposed to be dandelions, I guess. But people do say it's okay to be vulnerable. Is it okay to be vulnerable? I don't really know. This one is still like a hard subject for me. And also because I feel like it shocks people when I start crying. It's like, wow, it's a disaster. I'm really picking my ears right now. It's a huge contrast to my character. People get really shocked. It's like, flip, this is disaster. It's like dramatized, so that's why I don't like it. Anyways, I've become very unsympathetic. I've become very numb. It's very hard for me to feel sorry for anybody. I know this might be very mean, like, oh my god, how can you not feel sorry for people? That's just me. It's very hard. It takes so much for me to feel sorry for people, and that relates to the point that I always think people should get over their issues like I did. Do you know what I'm trying to say? So it links together. If someone's complaining about their relationship with their boyfriend, I literally could roll my eyes to Egypt. I always think, oh, people have bigger issues. That person's issue is still an issue in itself. I'm still trying my best to sympathize with people because it takes a lot out of me to see that your problem is big enough to be considered a problem. So she said to me, who do you think deserves therapy? The person that's going through cancer and is about to die, or this girl who is a nightlife girl in a club doing naughty? I don't want to say the word, but yeah, do you know what I'm trying to say? At least she said none. And she's like, none. So then she gave me an example of the rich girl and the woman that's going through cancer, and I said I think maybe the girl that's rich because the lady with cancer is going to leave the world. And I started crying because in a sense I could relate to the girl that's rich. I'm not rich, and I don't know why I kind of removed the concept of her issue to relate it to me. And I said, oh, she probably has issues with so and so and she probably needs that help, even if she's, you know, rich and to the world she has all her life together. This is just a good comparison, I guess. Someone that's like me and you feel like you lack empathy or sympathy. I don't know what the difference is, to be very honest with you. So yeah, whilst I'm talking, I hope you're seeing how therapy shifts the way of thinking without it being straight up. The therapist challenges you by questioning you, and that in its way challenges your beliefs that could be wrong, that that have been installed into you. And that's why I love therapy. It's because I hate being told what to do. And with therapy, it's like questioning you. Do you think if you were to do this, this would happen? I love that. It's like I'm going through a little interview. I went to therapy. I was experiencing a lot of panic attacks, and my panic attacks were becoming out of hand. I used to have ones at work. I had to leave my workplace several times and go to the emergency room because I literally was just crying on the shop floor for no reason. And that's because after the issue I was going through finished, I feel like my brain started to vomit. I don't know how to explain it. When you have been working so hard and you didn't give your body a break, your body might get sick suddenly. It's like your body is telling you to slow down, and I feel like my brain was doing the same thing, but through panic attacks and anxiety. I also was very depressed, but I didn't admit it at all. My friend would be like, Nadine, you're depressed. I'm like, no, I'm not. No, I'm not. How am I depressed? Look, I'm fine. I was so offended to be called depressed. And to this day, I feel like if someone calls me depressed, I get really offended because see these... I might get emotional for a second. I'm not getting emotional. I see these TikToks of girls, videos of themselves saying this is what depression looks like, and it's a girl dancing and singing. I could just relate to it so much because I didn't show any signs of depression. Is today Wednesday? Because I used to have my therapy sessions every Wednesday and today's Thursday. So I was thinking, is the crying due? I didn't cry every single session of therapy, by the way. So it's like my brain started collapsing and I couldn't fathom living life anymore. I wanted to leave life. I wasn't going to do anything because obviously I am Muslim, alhamdulillah, and I believe these stuff are not right. You shouldn't do that to yourself. If you know what I'm talking about, you understand, you know, yourself. I don't condone it at all. Obviously I feel for the people that have done it. Sometimes life gets really hard. I'm still attached to life, but at the same time I used to say, oh, I wish I wasn't born. You know those helplines where you call and you speak to somebody? I used to call them and cry and be like, I just need help, I'm crying and I don't know why I'm crying. So I contacted my GP and she referred me to Back on Track. That was the first step. Back on Track is just a quick service to get you back on track, literally what it is. It's like half an hour for a few weeks. If they see that your problem needs more like counseling, then they refer you to either a charity or they tell you about therapies. It's quite affordable. A lot of countries really don't care about therapy like that. It's just charities like that I'm so grateful for. So I would say the beginning of therapy wasn't as hard for me because I'm very self-aware. Like if you were to tell me, Nadine, you have this toxic trait, I'll be like, yeah, no. It's a blessing to be self-aware because I didn't go into therapy being delusional. If I'm being delusional, then I'm literally doing it by choice. Whereas if somebody is delusional, I feel so bad for them. They don't see the wrong in them. I feel like that's the worst character to have, when somebody doesn't see what they did wrong. I hate that. That's my worst nightmare. This is a narcissist's dream, to be delusional and never think that they're wrong. Anyways, so I would say therapy at the beginning was okay. It wasn't as hard. I'd say the middle stage was the hardest stage for me. I was having panic attacks because I was obviously talking about what my issue was. As I said in my last video, if you've been through trauma, when you speak it out loud, your brain fathoms what went through. I was so scared of that. I didn't want to shock my brain, and I've spent so long ignoring my issue. Now I'm being faced with it. I look so funny right now. I look like a cat. After therapy, I couldn't do anything. I couldn't speak to nobody. I was just crying, processing so much information because my brain is being challenged for an hour. Another thing is, I've realized because of therapy that my memory issue has been affected severely because of my past trauma, and I used to think my memory is just going bad, and no, it's because, do you remember when I said to you I blocked out everything that happened to me? This affected my memory because I purposely chose to forget things. When you forget, I feel like it affected the rest. It affected my short-term memory. So anything I did, I can't remember. I refer to a picture. That's how bad my memory was and still is. I would say my memory is improving a little bit, but it's not as good as it used to be. I contacted my GP and said, oh, my memory is being affected. Is it because of trauma? And she said, yes, that could definitely happen because you're very young to be experiencing memory loss. She offered me like depression tablets. No, I'm not doing that. As a doctor, I feel like they just go to tablets and treatment. I would rather do the therapy and not take tablets. I don't agree with taking depression tablets. I don't want to take something that's gonna play with my mood and hormones and all of that stuff. By the way, this is my personal opinion. If you do take, you know, tablets, it's obviously for a reason, so please don't stop taking them because of my opinion. So yeah, I remember the last straw for me was a panic attack that came out of nowhere when I was underground. I was literally 2 stops away from home in the underground crying. I was like, this is so like shameful. I can't do that. I need help. And I went home and I was shaking, I was grinding my teeth. Panic attacks are literally the worst thing ever, because for 15 to 20 minutes you think you're gonna die. It's just suffocating. It feels horrible. That was my last straw, and my willingness to do anything decreased completely. I had zero motivation to live life and do things. I am so not like that. So to see myself, my reflection in the mirror, sad, unproductive, really killed me. I felt sorry for myself, and I said it's time for me to actually deal with the issues. You shouldn't let yourself go. You only have yourself in this life, really. I saw relationships as something so bad. I didn't want to get into a relationship with somebody and have toxic traits that have been carried out from my experience. So I did myself a favor, and the person I'm going to be with a favor. And then the more I progressed in therapy, I kind of grew a bigger understanding to my symptoms, if that makes sense. I still cried, but I could go on with my life. Funny enough, by the end of therapy, I've realized that the issue that I went into therapy for wasn't the only reason why I was feeling the way I was feeling. It was due to another reason as well. It's like a box, right? And we unleashed so many things I didn't know were an issue, and I've just learned to speak up against the treatment I don't want. I've become so much more outspoken. Therapy kind of gave me a backbone. Isn't it Mental Health Month awareness? I'm so glad I'm speaking about this during that month. I always say I wish I didn't get famous for being funny, because at certain points it becomes exhausting to keep up with that facade. I'm not saying I'm a miserable person behind the scenes. Yes, alhamdulillah, I would like to say I'm a happy person, optimistic. However, if I'm not feeling funny and I have to deliver funny, it's not funny. Do you know what I'm trying to say? Obviously, if you know me from TikTok, that's where I started my career on social media. If you don't follow my TikTok and you don't follow my social media, what the hell are you doing? Or if you're not subscribed as well, you've got that far and you haven't subscribed. The audacity. So what are the benefits of therapy? The benefit for me, I would say, was I needed a breakdown of my issues. I needed to find out why I was acting a certain way. My goal, I think, was I needed to cope, be able to live a normal life, I would say. I've always said to my therapist, I know therapy is not a pill you just take and suddenly you're okay and happy and bubbly, which I wish it was, because it would have been so much easier. It's a whole process, and that process sometimes could be daunting to the brain. It could be exhausting to you physically as well. Maybe in some sessions you might experience panic attacks. Again, because of my memory issues, guys, I kind of forgot most of my therapy. I don't remember a lot of things unless like I've recorded it. My brain just doesn't have that capacity, and it's such a shame, because I used to memorize things so quickly. Because of one thing, it just ruined it. I think as well it benefits people in your life when you are feeling good about yourself and you're feeling refreshed. Kind of reprograms your brain in a positive way. I wouldn't complain to my mom about my mental health issues, because I just don't want to add extra stress to her life. Because when you complain to your mom, it's not like complaining to a friend or a therapist where they hear it, they give you advice and they move on with their life and their issues. Your mother keeps these stuff on her shoulder and it adds extra stress. Life is hard on its own. At one point in therapy, I had like a really weak point. I was so depressed for 2 weeks because I almost thought I had DID, dissociative identity. I think that's what it's called, when you deassociate from yourself. I think that's why my memory is affected as well. Finding that out really depressed me. It made me feel like I can't forgive the person that made me go through this. Imagine being told, did you deassociate? And it like hits you, because I've told my therapist, I feel like I'm not there. I'm in the situation, but I feel like I'm not there. And I was like, I don't want to leave therapy being diagnosed with DID. Like, I remember going to my sister and breaking down. Life is hard, guys, and you just gotta get the armor out. Honestly, just love yourself, just care for yourself, do things that make you happy. I went and got a massage the other day and my back is killing me. Why do I not just go get a massage? Why do I not go get my nails done? Go get a mani and a padi, girl. Last question was my attitude before and after therapy. I'm a lot more empathetic compared to before. I'm a lot more gentle with my advice to other people. I'm really harsh with how I advise people. If I care about you, I just don't want you to do stupid things. It really like hurts me to know that somebody I love is making a stupid decision. So I'm very cutthroat. Again, it's the way I'm raised. Oh my god, my psoriasis is psoriasing today. But I'd say I'm a lot more understanding to behaviors now. I can now differentiate between vulnerability vulnerability and weakness. I'd say I'm a lot more smarter emotionally. I think that's it. I think I covered a lot of things, but please, if you feel like I didn't cover everything, please let me know in the comments below what you would like me to talk about. And let me go get dressed and I'll come back to you guys so we can finalize this video. I don't think I'm having a good turban day today. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Hope you really enjoyed this video. Please don't forget to show some love. Make sure you comment, subscribe, share, like. Leave me a suggestion below of what I should call this series. I decided on Nadin chats, but if you find something better, please let me know. I will shout you out in my next video. And of course, don't forget to follow my social media. It's nadine.ward on TikTok and Nadine Ward on Instagram. I post cute stuff and funny stuff there. Please leave me suggestions in the comments so I know what you would like me to talk about in the next video. Bye. And my nails are so pretty. Why the hell is a croissant on the back of my hoodie? Am I feeding my FL?